Ladies and gentlemen, we are continuously getting you updates on what has happened in Rajasthan's Churu. There has been a jet crash. What we're getting to know from defense sources is currently that this was a Jaguar fighter jet which has crashed. More and more information still trickling in as to what exactly happened, how many people were there, and what might have taken place, seconds ahead of this unfortunate crash that has taken place. These visuals that we are showing you is reportedly of the Jaguar Indian Air Force jet. My colleague Rishabh is getting us more on this. He's been tracking the development in this case. Rishabh, any word from the Indian Air Force yet, or any authority confirming what exactly has happened?
Hina, maybe in another few moments I'll be able to tell the viewers if there is any concrete info that is coming from Indian Air Force. I see on the chat that the Air Force officials are typing something. I'm just waiting for a clarity on what has happened. As of now, the sources suggest that Indian Air Force Jaguar aircraft, the fighter jet who has been a proven war horse for Indian Air Force, has crashed in Churu in Rajasthan. Details are being ascertained. I'm still awaiting further confirmation on the pilots, on the situation in the condition in which this aircraft has crashed. But as of now, nothing much has come in. No official word from Indian Air Force or Defense Ministry has come in. Sources within the defense apparatus has confirmed to us, has confirmed to Times Now that it was a Jaguar aircraft and it has crashed in Churu in Rajasthan. That's all we have now. We are, we are still waiting. The Air Force is still saying that they are ascertaining the details, so we'll have to be very, very careful about what the details could be. No word on pilot as of now from the Defense Ministry or Indian Air Force, and we have been asked to follow the due diligence and the protocol when it comes to this crash is what we are given to understand. We are still waiting official confirmation. No official confirmation as of now is what we are given to understand. So we'll have to wait. The only thing that we know that we can confirm to our viewers, that too via sources, that an Indian Air Force Jaguar fighter jet has crashed in Churu in Rajasthan.
Right.
Further details are yet to come in.
Right, Rishabh, stay with me. Understandable that details are still trickling in. The Indian Air Force and authorities are still uncertain as to what must have happened. And these things take time. But so far as we know, viewers, these are the visuals that emerged out of Rajasthan's Churu area, where defense sources say that a Jaguar fighter jet crashed. These visuals on your screen are that, are from that crash site. These are videos also circulating on social media. But remember, we're only going to get you reliable, authentic information as far as this jet crash is concerned. We're still awaiting a word from the authorities, from the defense sources, from the Indian Air Force particularly, as to what exactly has happened. Ascertaining more and more details of, the entire incident that has happened in Rajasthan's Churu will take some time. But Rishabh, so far as we know, defense sources telling us that this was a Jaguar fighter jet. Clearly a cause of concern, considering that Jaguar is one of the most modern fighter jets, fighter aircraft that the Indian Air Force operates upon.
Well, if we talk about, Jaguars started coming into Indian Air Force sometime in 1970s. The first full squadron was somewhere between early 80s when Jaguars came in. Jaguars are the proven horses, be it Safed Sagar or be it, the routine sorties on western border. Jaguars have always been one of the best aircrafts that Indian Air Force have been using. One of the best pilots in Indian Air Force do fly Jaguars. I was just talking to Hina before this, and what we were discussing then also, that in Safed Sagar, during Operation Vijay, when Operation Safed Sagar was launched, Jaguars were one of the best choices apart from Mirages that Indian Air Force had. And now, after Pulwama, when airstrikes happened, we all know about the Mirages that went in, 12 Mirages that went in and hit Balakot, the Balakot airstrike. Many suggested, many who understood, who were part of the operation and knew the details of the operations back then confirmed to us that if Wing Commander Abhinandan wouldn't have shot down in the dogfight on on the 27th of February, maybe on 27th or 28th, we would have another airstrike by Indian Air Force. A Jaguar squadron was all set to do that back then. That could not happen because Wing Commander Abhinandan was shot down, and instead of offensive, things turned into diplomacy between Islamabad and Delhi and worldwide for that matter.
Right.
So Jaguars are the planes that Indian Air Force trust, and as of now, many say that they are. Many could suggest that this is the third crash. Is it an old horse or something? But Jaguars are not that incompetent, and if the crashes are happening, it needs detailed study that why these three crashes have taken place. As of now, we cannot confirm anything on the pilots or their condition. Indian Air Force suggests that we wait for official confirmation that they are trying to gain. Local media reports suggest otherwise, but we'll wait for Indian Air Force's statement or confirmation to talk about how the pilot or pilots
stay
are.
with me. I'm also joined by Major General Rajan Kochar on the phone line. General Kochar, your first assessment of what must have happened here.
First of all, it's we're very, very sad to learn that we have lost a pilot, and the aircraft also has been, it has crashed. Reasons, you see, this I think our investigation will actually bring out the reason, but most probably, as we are seeing these crashes happening in the Indian Air Force on some intervals, we've seen this happening, and especially Jaguar is a very old aircraft of the force, and possible reasons due to some a kind of engine failure also at times can lead to this kind of a crash. Second is being a very, very old aircraft, it requires very high maintenance levels. And we have seen earlier also, like MiG-21, there were so frequent crashes.
Yeah.
And the Indian Air Force was, it had to resort to, declaring it obsolete and to stop flying those aircraft, because also it was known as a flying coffin. So I think a time has come for the Indian Air Force to carry assessment of kind of inventory we'd like to hold, especially the older aircraft would need to be phased out in a manner as we get new aircraft.
Right.
So I think that could be one way we look at it. But at the same time, you see these on old aircrafts and kind of spares also we actually get at times, and most of the time.
Okay, General Kochar, thank you very much for joining us and sharing your perspective. I'm also joined by Wing Commander Praful Bakshi. Wing Commander, how do you assess this? What must have happened? And is, this is a Jaguar that we are talking about, obviously one of the most modern aircraft fighter jets that the Indian Air Force uses.
The way you're saying, okay, perfectly okay. The Jaguar was a very, very effective aircraft at one time and is still very effective. But it has actually gone old. It was made in 60s by a French and British combined Seppicat company. They made it, and it was used in Shad, Nigeria, and even in Pakistan, various attacks. Very effective aircraft. There's no doubt about it. Jaguar basically is a deep penetration strike aircraft which requires extreme low flying. It is basically a low-level strike fighter. So what happens is the pilot has to fly low. And low flying, as it is not a very easy thing to do, especially when you have a fighter flying, the reaction time is very less.
Okay.
But when you're carrying out low-level exercise, especially in the areas like Churu, Ratangad and all that area, there can be bird activities in the morning and the evening time when the birds go to the feeding area and come back from the feeding area. That is a time where the red and green period, it is called, where the low flying is avoided. Perhaps we have to find out from the inquiry as to what happened. Was it a bird hit? Because bird hits are quite common. And jaguars have got a lot of bird hits. And as it is, as I told you, low flying is not easy exercise, especially when you're carrying it out at night.
Right.
So we have to find out what time the aircraft crashed and was it a formation or not. And then when the accident investigation is carried out, of course, we'll see the flight data recorder and CVC will tell us, his last transmission will tell us. But the aircraft, I'm telling you, was getting old. In the last 1 year, and the beginning of the year, 3 accidents have taken place. That is not very encouraging. But India is still using it. Other countries have now stopped using Jaguars.
Okay, so very pertinent points, Wing Commander, that you're making. And of course, those details will still trickle in as to what happened exactly, the cause of this tragic crash. Thanks very much for joining us at the moment, Wing Commander. I'm also joined by Group Captain UK Debnath on the phone line. Group Captain, how do you ascertain the situation? What do you think could be a potential cause of this unfortunate incident?
Yes, indeed. Very unfortunate accident. It is afternoon. Normally, during afternoon, Jaguar aircraft do not carry out low-level flying because of various issues, especially due to large number of birds which fly at medium altitude during daytime. Jaguar low-level tactical flying is normally confined to early morning hours or late in the evening. Just before sunset or early in the morning just after sunrise, because all these big birds, they don't fly at that time. So pilots carry out their low-level tactical flying training at that time. Since this crash took place around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, my guess is that it was carrying out a normal medium level or high level tactical training sortie. And the visuals which are coming, they show that whether there are a lot of clouding at medium altitude, that is 5,000 feet, 10,000 feet, 15,000 feet. Normally, all pilots are trained to do instrument flying when they enter a cloud. Pilots may enter a cloud either in a pre-planned manner or sometimes even by chance they may enter a cloud. But pilots are trained to fly safely in IFR condition, that is instrument flying rating conditions. Air Force trains pilots. We give them different type of instrument rating. As they are trained, they are declared white rated. Then they are trained more, they are declared green rated. Then they are trained, and finally we call them master green. That means we can fly even in a very bad condition, weather condition. Reports will come out subsequently. It appears that the pilot, it was a single cockpit Jaguar aircraft.
Captain, can I also understand from you then, since you're saying that perhaps, external factors could be a contributor to what has happened. Of course, details will trickle and then we'll get to know what exactly caused it. But, before you, I was talking to Wing Commander Praful Bakshi. He said that Jaguar has been an old aircraft. Do you think, technical issue could have been a potential cause also?
Time to time in India, the airframe has been strengthened, the engine has been modified, and but fact remains it is an old aircraft. Initially in 1970s, this aircraft used to fly with British Royal Air Force, with French Air Force, and many other air forces. Over a period of time, all air forces have grounded this aircraft, mothballed them. On Indian Air Force happens to be the only Air Force which is flying Jaguar at present. We have almost 6 squadrons, 102 Jaguars are still flying. Yes.
All right, Group Captain UK Debnath, thanks very much for joining us on Times Now and giving us a perspective of what could have happened. Of course, viewers, we will keep getting you more and more details that trickle in on this unfortunate tragedy that has taken place in Rajasthan. But right now, it's time for a short break.